2 districts this year so far come and see what we're doing at big. We're at schools, and New London and Danville came last week with about 7 people to see how we operate with big. The other list that Mr. Meyer gave you as well is a list of all the community involvement that our students have done through big, and then the tech math class and other industrial tech classes out in the shop. And today, these 3 students are going to briefly summarize a few of the projects that they're working on. And then if you have any questions, we'll answer those at the end, the students or myself. So Mason, take it away.
All right, the first project I'm going to talk about is Big Honey. It's a project that we kicked off, I want to say 2 months ago. It's fairly new, and what we started is we were looking into getting beehives and keeping them somewhere that we could use through Bellevue Big, so it'd be a continuing project throughout the years, and we can use it to harvest honey, learn about bees, because bees are the second largest pollinator besides wind, and they're kind of in a crisis right now. So we're learning about bees, learning about populations, and researching about them, and so we can use this to put beehives out. And I think we're looking right now up at State Park. There's a spot up near State Park and maybe one other place that we keep, so we can learn about how to harvest honey, all that, and then so that can be a revenue, a continuing revenue for the Bellevue Big program, so we don't have to always rely on grants. And then we can also teach the community and schools about bees. And then another project I'm on is Faces of Bellevue. It is more of a campaign to recognize members of the community. So we talk to them, interview them, get their story, and we have subsets of groups. So we have veterans, we have farmers, we have people who moved here, people who have lived here their whole lives, teachers, all kinds of people from all around the community. We get their story and we interview them, and then we have a website and we upload our interview with them on the website, and then we write a little blurb and we have a picture for them. And then we are looking to do kind of all different things with these profiles. So we can do like something with Heritage Days, like we can make posters about them, like write their little story, have the picture, and kind of just promote Bellevue, because we ask them and discuss why they like Bellevue's community, what are good things, why they stay, stuff like that.
If I can follow up with that just briefly, I think one of the ideas came from, I think several years ago we went to Muscatine. They were doing something similar to this in Dubuque in the Millwork District. I think I go to Inspire, the little coffee shop in the Millwork District. They have these faces, pictures, and a little story about the person. So it's kind of where it was inspired from. It's a similar way.
Cedar Rapids did something like that too, but they actually painted steel doors, and they put doors with the people's picture in parks. And I don't know if that's what we want to do, but that's what Cedar Rapids did.
Yeah, so just the way you reckon. And when we say Bellevue, Bellevue does not just mean people that live in Bellevue. It's people that live in Springbrook, people that live outside of town, wherever it is, that way too. So.
Yeah.
I just want to clarify.
Any questions about either of those?
You mentioned a website, Mason. Does Bellevue Big have a website?
Yes, we have a website, and I think the Faces of Bellevue website is linked to that.
If you go to our homepage, the Bellevue's homepage, go to
Our
schools,
school.
it's listed under their middle school, high school, elementary, and then it's Bellevue Big. You click on that, and then that website also was designed by one of the students in the program as well. She designed the whole thing.
Thank you, Mason.
Care of the bees.
Right now, so since this is a fairly new project that we kind of just brainstormed, it was kind of a wild idea, and we kind of ran with it. We're right now in the research and development phase, so we wrote a grant for it. We researched how much hives would cost. We compiled everything that we would need. We researched best locations for bees. We found a spot for it. So we're looking to kind of kick it off next year with a group who'd want to pick it up. So we'll have everything ready for them. All they kind of have to do is buy it and put it out there.
What's an apiary? 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 Is that how that's pronounced? Apiary? Or is
Apiary.
that a misspelling?
That could be too.
Apiary is the place where the bees are at. Basically, it's a bee
Oh,
area.
it's just where the bees are going to be located. Just so that right.
Is that the whole thing or the individual box? Or
I think it's the hives themselves.
So yeah. So can you explain the box to them? So what that would look like? You know how many?
So a beehive, what we're looking to, I think, start off with one, hopefully expand it to. So it's gonna sit off the ground about a foot, and then it'll probably in total be about this tall. You'll have 2 large boxes on the bottom, and then every shorter box on top is what you harvest the honey from, and the 2 on the bottom are what the bees need to stay alive throughout the winter and when it gets tough.
You guys went to visit with some people in Dubuque on Saturday. I just remember
Yep, we
following
went
on
out to the
Twitter.
farm.
I remember following on Twitter. You guys
met
were
with
with
a
somebody.
guy from Clayton Ridge who owns a bee farm. We've been getting contacts like that and stuff.
Has anyone
There's a
talked to
yeah.
that Elmer Yadoff down there?
In Preston? Yep, we've talked to them before.
Because I know in the fall he uses our core 8. He brings all the bees there,
Mhm.
and they get shipped to California to pollinate almond trees out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's kind of, then they bring them to,
they bring them back and get in.
well, they stop somewhere else in Arizona, I think. I have bees on my farm. If you need some hives, come out and steal
Yeah. So that's
It's
one of my
kind of-
favorite
that's
projects
amazing.
at Big right now. I'm really excited about it. Hopefully see it take off in a few years or so.
Where will that be? Not the.
B, but
Not an iron.
hopefully, Mr. Ernst has been gracious enough to let us possibly put it on a piece of land that he's renting behind the state park. We'd be able to access it from state parks, so it'd be very easy. And I think we slap a logo on it, a Bellevue Big logo, so people know whose it is. But
Thank you, Mason.
Sounds good.
Alright, so the project I'm on is athletics cards, and what that is Mr. Wright came to Kurt and Matt Yeager after, at the start of second semester and said the athletic promotional cards that we're selling, that we're gonna go through ourselves now. So they came to me asking if I wanted to head it, and I said, yeah. So I mean, the biggest thing with that is going around to all the local businesses, getting the deals, seeing if they wanna stay on it. And then we also thought of adding new ones, going up to Dubuque, getting new deals. And we took a trip up there one day, the 5 of us, me, Mason, Corbin, Alex Ernst, and Devin Keeter. And we didn't get any deals because we realized that everyone we went to was corporate. So I mean, we realized that the local deals are the ones we want to go with. And that's going pretty well right now. Right now, we're in the contacting the printing company. We've got all the logos and all the deals set, so now we're just trying to get them printed and get them shipped into us, really.
If I can just kind of talk about the athletic cards before they were through another group, Acceleration, I think it was. Adrenaline was an A something, Adrenaline, and they cost like $20, $25. You can buy one of these cards. Well, the school only got to keep about half of that money. The rest went to the company. So what these guys are basically doing is creating a similar card. They're going to keep all the money. The card is going to cost about $1 to print, if
Yeah,
that,
even
basically.
less, it's like
It'll
85
be a
cents
bigger
card.
fundraiser for the department that way. So just a way of doing things. And it takes some graphic work and things like that too to make it attractive.
And you don't need no copyrights or nothing to do, and to take an idea like that. And,
Well, not that, no, there's other schools that are doing
Yeah.
this.
okay.
and there are other companies that do it.
And there's other companies that are doing, the thing that they had to do is get the okay from each company. So
Yeah.
the local businesses and then the ones in Dubuque, and some of those were, that was a challenge. And they found out corporate, when they email them, you don't get an email back
Right
for a
away.
long
Yeah.
time. There's actually 2 that we're still waiting on. So it was a learning process. It was a good process. Now when Peter's talking about, he found a company that can print them for us. And once they send a sample back, they're gonna go back to every business, make sure everything's right on it before we print them for the final time, so.
Should have done this years ago.
That's crazy.
How many businesses did you get?
25.
And then
And you're
a
including
lot-
like Geno's and Manny's probably.
Yeah,
A lot
I'm
of
thinking
feedback
that way.
from people that bought them in the past that wanted local. on
More
it.
local,
More
yeah.
local.
That wanted to
yeah.
continue.
So that's,
That's a good deal.
thank you.
Thanks, Peter.
So the Bellevue Big Buddies program, that was Kylie Biederman's idea. She's a project lead on that, and we got the idea from. Where did she get the idea from?
She
Iowa
had
did?
that, no, she had that when she was at Hempstead, she had something similar to that. And she wanted to bring
Gotcha.
something to that nature to them as well.
And so I've been sitting in on all their meetings and just kind of learning how the ropes work and how the project goes. So I'll be taking over next year and heading it. But it's a mentorship program between 4th and 5th graders and sophomores and juniors. And each junior gets a 5th grader and each sophomore gets a 4th grader.
Who want to participate? It's not everybody. but
Right,
yeah.
not each. So there was a sign up process, and it was between the parents and the students to see if they wanted to be a part of this program, and also the same with the high schoolers. So it wasn't it was recommendations by the teachers of who they thought needed a mentor, and the parents who agreed to allow them to be in the program, and so each elementary school student got paired up with a high school student that was willing to participate. And so the requirement was to go down to the high school once every 2 weeks, and they can take their buddy out of class, and if they have a subject that they're struggling with, they can mentor them in that and just talk to them about their day. The first thing we did was we had a big, large group, kind of game day, and that was like the last 3 hours of the school day. And that was only the buddies and us, and that was real fun. The big buddies and little buddies all enjoyed it. Just to kind of kick it off, one of the big problems we had was the people without buddies were super jealous. So we just, when would we do the bowling?
Last
Friday.
Last Friday, we took the whole school bowling.
Not the whole.
The whole
school.
grade.
Well, the whole,
So 4th and 5th grade.
yeah, the both full grades. And this is a process that'll continue, and I guess the main point was just a smoother transition to middle school. So the 5th graders will still have their senior buddies, and it'll just be an easier transition, getting them more confident and comfortable in that, so.
Can they add more? I mean, if some of those that were jealous wanted, if they want to, can
Yes,
do
they
it?
can always sign up as long as we have high schoolers who can be their buddies, obviously, but. And Mr. Ott was saying that eventually they won't need parent consent because it'll be an in-school program and it's nothing outside of school.
It's more of an opt-out program. So like Eli was saying, when we did that first gathering out here, some of the 4th and 5th graders stayed back, and when we brought them back, they were super excited. They weren't the ones back in the classroom, so that wasn't what we planned for. It was a learning experience. So this time when we did our next big group gathering, we brought them all, and we just said, "You're gonna be with this buddy, this big buddy," and it was amazing. The energy that those kids have, the way the high school students work with those elementary students is just phenomenal. It's gonna build the school climate and culture is just gonna be so much better, I feel, as they transition, because as a 6th grader, it's nerve-wracking coming out here, but they know somebody, so we're hoping to make that transition smoother. So seniors will be with 6th graders, juniors will be with 5th graders, and sophomores will be with 4th graders. And they stay
So
with
will
that
that,
buddy.
that sophomore be a buddy for 3 years with the same
Stay with the
student?
same one, yep. This
And
year we did,
eventually they'll be a big buddy, so it's
yeah,
a big pro, yep.
hopefully we hope the 6th graders then seeing the benefit
Kind
of
of
it.
loops
will
around.
stay
Go around.
in the program.
I think the one thing too is the student mentors, the high school students had some training with Mr. Ott too of how to be a good mentor. You know what I mean? How to be a good mentor, and if something's going on, how to let someone else know that hey, something's happening here. So we had some training for the older students as well.
Yep.
How is there, I don't want to call it disruption, but do you contact the teacher and say, I'm coming down, or how's the contact? So you don't walk up and, hey, I'm
Right.
here, or,
The teachers have been very good about it, and we started out having each student email them before we'd come in. But then they just started letting them come in, and it wasn't a problem at all. Like,
okay.
it was usually only a half hour to an hour not even an hour, like 20 minutes to a half hour. And they were fine with it. It wasn't, I thought it'd be chaotic, just like students running into the high school and pulling the kids out of class, but
There's a requirement, you have to meet with them once, at least 2 weeks, no more than once every week. So it's not like it's
So
happening every day,
Oh.
so that wouldn't be happening.
Right.
And I think one of the things when they go down and they pull them out of class and say they're working on math or social studies, they kind of work from what they're working on in class, so they're not totally missing out.
How many are we, what are the numbers?
close to 50 in each grade, would you say?
Well, that's all of them, for how many that signed up, you mean?
Yeah.
How many signed up, I'd have to look, but I think it's 20 4th graders, 25 4th graders, and then probably 30 plus.
So over, almost half.
Yeah. More than we have big buddies. The more high schoolers, we have some that are doubled up, which is okay.
Right, like I have 2 little buddies, so I just alternate weeks when I go see them.
Oh, I
And there's
see,
a
that
few
makes
others that have that. So.
Do they keep it male, boy and boy and girl? I mean,
For the most part, yeah. I think there's some girls with boy.
Yeah. The neatest thing is when they come to athletic events, they recognize everybody. I think it's really neat.
Is there any criteria for,
The mentors?
well,
For the
yeah,
kid.
for both.
For the mentors, I think it's just good conduct policy with the school and C average in your grades, and I would say that's it.
For the younger kids, no. There's some that we want, you really want some of these kids, and that's where Ms. Rickerson comes in. She nudges the students to make sure that that's happening, but we don't want to turn any down. That's a good thing.
Sounds like a good program.
I would say any questions about Big as a whole as a program?
Well, we get Tom's, all what you're doing. What was the feedback from the schools? I saw that the schools, what questions they had or how that,
It's interesting. Every school's different.
So are they hearing word of mouth or how they?
I don't know how they're hearing some of this.
I know that they wanted to go out to Iowa Big in Cedar Rapids, but the charge to go out there anymore. It used to be free at one time. Now it's $150 a person to go out there. So they were looking for a cheaper option. Since we were free, we qualified. And I knew Gary DeLacy, the superintendent at Danville. He used to be at Comanche, actually, as principal. So I knew him, and he asked me about it. He took the job at Clinton, actually, as superintendent. So he asked me if they could come up. I said, yeah, sure, come on up. I didn't ask Kurt or Matt before I told them, yeah, come on up that way. But it's really through word of mouth. I think Iowa Big actually gave them our name as somebody maybe you want to go visit. Because there's very few programs like this. Iowa Big, us, there's a group in North Iowa. Fort Dodge may have something out too. It's a pretty small group. There's probably 10 districts in the state, if that. I don't think there's 10.
But everyone's doing a little bit different. They're making it work for them.
Yeah.
Like some of I think it's the Big North, they pick 4 projects. They only have 4 projects, and that's all they work on here. That's totally different than what
And the
we do.
teacher picks
Yeah.
those. The
Yeah.
school picks those. Here we allow our kids to pick what they want to
Danville
work
and
on.
New London are trying to do something after school, is my understanding, so that's gonna be totally different than ours. And Alburnett, I missed out on that one because I was out here getting things done for the community project,
Any other questions for these gentlemen? Kylie's out to track me. That's why she wasn't here. So, but okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for all you do.
Thank you for
That's-
good luck in
Yes.
the future, and it sounds like a good program.
And it has been. I feel the big program's been a huge success for our students this year, going into year one, not really knowing what it would all entail, but I think these 3 would say the same thing. It's been a great addition to what we offer. The industrial tech, I'll just put a shout out for that because we don't have any students here in the tech math class. If you look on that list, there's a lot of stuff that we've done for the community. When you can fill up almost a page full of stuff that has some sort of community involvement, I take a lot of pride in that. I think our students take a lot of pride in that. And it's never ending. It seems more things are added to the list today. So the plasma table's been a huge benefit to us. If you look up there, I think, Tom, do you leave it the same as I sent it to you?
Yeah, I love to
There's a
say.
lot of projects that we're doing with the plasma table. And today we just cut out some bat hangers for Enzyme Park that I sent to Tom too. So it's been a fun year.
Do you know how many kids you're gonna have? How many, now the first year you only had
For the plasma table,
no,
for
kids
big,
yeah.
it's bigger next year. We have 24 officially, and I think we'll have possibly have 26. There's 2 that weren't at the meeting. That's about our max. Matt Yeager's the other one in there, and he's the one that gives the students their government or American history. American
He's
history.
running the clock at the track meet tonight.
Yeah, the American history credit. So he has a lot to do with making sure they meet the standards. Some of that is through the projects, some of it's not. And there's another sheet, I don't know if you copied that one, Mr. Meyer, or not, but on how we're changing some things next year to make sure that's happening and we can document that that's happening a lot easier than this year. So not that they didn't hit the standards, it's just we're just making it better. We're just making it better.
I think the eventual plan is that we talked about they're doing some things. Mason with the bees. You're working with science. You're learning some things in science that way. You guys are doing business and marketing. You're doing, what I mean. There's a lot of things you're doing there that connect with other subject areas. Eventually, to get some English credit, science credit, whatever, through standards and standards-based grading that way. So that's the eventual plan. It's just a working process, getting that developed and getting our our teachers align with standards and where we're going and what we're doing. It's really comes down to that. Excellent.
Will space be available next year, the classroom down there again?
I believe so. That's worked out well for us, so I hope so, yeah. Al Ernst is a believer in it, so I believe it.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you guys very much.